Brandon, I'm sure
We're about to dive into another episode of Running with Scissors, the podcast that helps you understand who and what you truly are in the world. Buckle up as we unpack strategies to unlock your full potential so you can stop running with scissors and get the most out of your life, work, and relationships. Let's go!
So I didn't realize this, but I put in the words buckle up in that intro for, I guess, this very moment, because based on our pre-recording jib jab, it's a buckle up episode. I don't even know what to expect out of this one.
Hang on. Here we go.
No.
Welcome to the party. We got the four of us here. We got the Maestro, the executive scissor optimizer, the human optimizer, and the HumanOp.com. I should change that, shouldn't I?
You're just the website.
I'm just the website. I'm actually not here, guys. I'm invisible. You can't see me.
What are you? What would you be?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's come up with a name for me.
Yeah.
How would we singularly personify your role?
The HumanOp unifier.
Yeah, I was going to say glue or something because you just bring it all together, Brandon.
Yeah, unifier sounds a little bit more sophisticated.
Better, yeah, I think
Glue sounds like a horse.
Glue sounds like, why is he still here? We tried to get rid of him a lot.
Gumming up the work.
He's glued to the seat.
Gumming up the work.
He's less glue. You're more the grease than the glue.
Now we're talking.
Now we're doing.
Should we go that far? No, pull it back. We're not going that far.
This could only go downhill from here. Hi, Brandon.
It's going to go downhill from here. Buckle up. But seriously, welcome to the party. I'm so excited that we get to come together, the four of us. We're talking about the retreat. We had an event in Scottsdale at this point 3 months ago, just over 90 days ago. Yesterday, at the time of this recording, we got back together as a group, and we had some very, very interesting progress. We broke some people. We blew some people up. We blew some mines. We dropped nuclear bombs. We did a whole lot of things. And I want to unpack all of it.
Yeah.
See what we learned and where are we going for the next one. Because we're doing this again, guys. We're going back to Scottsdale in October. And I'm super excited for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was I don't know. Well, I'll let you figure out how we unpack it, because I just wanted to jump right in to be like, we did drop some bombs. We did not know when we put on this event. We didn't know we had hopes and dreams about what would happen when we combined Harmonious with HumanOp and what would happen with the two technologies and what we were going to do. We thought it was going to be great. It was weapons grade great. It was like when they did the first atomic bomb test. They were like, we think it might be big, might also destroy the entire universe, but we think it's going to be big. Well, it was big. It was bigger than we thought it was going to be. And
yeah, it was bigger than what, you're right. It was bigger than what we even anticipated to be, in a good way. Right.
Yeah.
And I think if you're listening to this podcast and you're going, what the heck are they talking about? Retreat, whatever the case may be. I mean, likely think of it like this. Okay. I think one of the best way to get the most out of this chaos that's about to ensue with our discussions. So that's why Brandon says, buckle up. I think the biggest thing to look for is, if you are a leader and if you've looked into going to a retreat to have intensive breakthroughs on what it means to be a leader and what it means to take your team to the next level, to create a almost like a limitless, not almost, but like create a limitless scalability potential. I think those are the cool gemstones to be looking for in this episode, however it unfolds, for anybody who is listening at this point.
Yeah, I want to do three things with this. I want to accomplish that for sure. How is this different than other events, retreats, whatever, virtual, in person? We're talking in person, but I want to do that. I want to also issue a word of caution, because we're going to unpack this. There was a lot done. Some people could handle it. Some people couldn't. And we want you to be prepared for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then also talk about what did we learn? Because I think in any time where you try something new, you have high hopes. And we just talked about how combining it created something even bigger than we could have imagined. We have to learn from that and move forward. And some things do better. Some things take away. Some things add on to it. So that's sort of my goal here, is to unpack in real time, what did we learn? What can other people expect? And who is this for? And who is it not for?
Yeah.
So if we can do that, we put
that understanding of what we learned from this, and the exposing of that, and the showing of that, and the being real about it, has massive value too, right? So I would love to talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's totally in alignment with the name of the show, even, right? It's not like when we were kids and our parents said, stop running with scissors, to say, don't ever use scissors for the rest of your life, right? It's about understanding what the scissors are for, right? So I think this is a lot of what is so in alignment with what we're going to be talking about.
And if you're going to run with scissors, know how to run with scissors.
Yeah.
Don't take that out of context, though.
On
Lisa,
how you're wired.
I don't want to get sued here. Come on.
All of this is for entertainment purposes. Did we say that?
We need that disclaimer on our intro and our outro.
Or just constantly floating across the screen.
The best we can hope for.
I will do that as we're talking, actually. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to put this on the screen if you're watching. I'll give you the retreat website. It's down below in the show notes below if you want to check this out. And also see the testimonials. You can see, we're going to talk about the people that were there. They've all given us their permission to do that. But look at what they said about their transformation and back that up with what we say. But let's all take a step back. Let's go back in time to January, February. We're planning this retreat. We had this idea. Let's merge these two things, fuse these atoms, so to speak. And we put this together with the intention of what? Let's start there, because I think what we intended versus what we got are two totally different things. So, Sean, I'll kick it over to you. I know this was sort of our brainchild in the beginning. What did you want out of this event?
Yeah. So we thought that we were going to have people take the assessment, understand who they were, precede that a little bit, because it's so much information to take in all at once. We knew we only had them for a certain amount of time. So we thought, we're going to introduce them to who and what they are, the possibility that they haven't been feeding their drivers correctly their entire lives, that they don't even have the operating system manual, right, for the operating system that they're running in who they are. Teach them that, talk about all the beautiful things they can do to optimize themselves, then break. See, we should have known this was coming. Then we break their brains on, also, then, if all of life is a game and your business is a game, which it is, why isn't it fun? And then level set them back to the state of when they were 10 years old and they knew exactly how games were fun and how to apply that to their business, to realize that they've been playing someone else's game and that's why it's been so hard. And then ground them, because we knew that would be untethering a little bit, ground them in some reality of, here's what you're going to do for the next 90 days and have some follow-ups. We thought that was going to just go just like that. And they were going to have a good time and have some highs and lows, but come out of it going, this is a pretty darn good event. I'll give it a 7.5, and then I'll do some of the stuff, and then I'll get some value. We thought that would be nice and easily handleable like that. Brandon, is that what we got?
No. Do you like the banner on the bottom of the screen, by the way?
Yeah, I would add on, this content is for educational entertainment purposes.
No, there's very little education happening right now.
You better share with our listeners in case they're not reading this, Brandon.
If you're not seeing it, get your eyeballs on it. Go over to YouTube.
Do not
check it out.
Yeah, the whole point of this podcast is make sure that you stop running with scissors, right? Which, by the way, there is a theme song for this.
There is. But Sean, to answer the question,
is that where we got?
No, that is not really where we got.
Yeah.
No.
So, Lisa, how about from your perspective? Because again, you guys have been doing this on the HumanOp side, formerly under the Limitless Leader brand. I mean, you've done events, you've done workshops. What did you expect it to be when we were planning it?
I'll let Lisa go first.
Anytime we can share with leaders, or truly any human being, the understanding about their unique nature, it lights me up, because I've been doing this. I've been working with individuals and couples and families and business leaders for over 20 years now. So it's always an exciting opportunity to do that with any human being. Now, when we married Harmonious with the HumanOp technology, I was just kind of open to whatever was going to unfold. And it really did blow my mind how synergistic it all was when we came together. And the beauty of it is that, we started out, as you mentioned, Sean, understanding our individual unique vehicles of self as a leader, knowing why you do what you do, the way that you do it is important. And we have a scientific understanding of why behind it all. And then on top of it, okay, great. And then we teach you how to actually work with that knowledge. Now, how can we take that knowledge and incorporate it into the harmonious dynamic, which Sean and Brandon brought on board? So I was open to what was going to unfold. It blew me away how, like I said, synergistic it all was. And the outcomes have been really cool to see. Of course, anytime you're introducing something new to people, it's not an overnight thing at all. And as we're seeing, as the people that attended the last retreat, it's an unfoldment process, and it is a process. But the cool thing is we're all here to support each other, and we're seeing some really cool gems that are coming out of it for individual leaders and their teams.
Yeah, I agree. Wei, what about you?
One thing I realized over the years, so Lisa has been in the world of the HumanOp technology for about over 20 years now, me about 10. I've been in the human optimization game for like over 30 years now. Holy cow. And I've learned to expect the unexpected, and yet even so, the unexpected still blows my mind. We do these events, and I'm always expecting, because of what Lisa and I do, that tears will be shed. It's just going to happen because we have the opportunity to use a technology to really create a safe space for people to be able to look in the mirror and really look, right? But this last event, it wasn't just the participants that were shedding tears. I still remember on day 2 when one of the participants had this massive shift from where he was before the event, came to the event, and we said, "You have changed so much. Let's assess you again real quick, just for kicks," right? And when I saw the pretty much 180-degree shift that he made, and mind you, there were shifts made and some big breakthroughs in his business because of the Harmonious model. Lisa and I are just obsessed with unlocking the human potential. And so when we saw that happening for that individual, I literally had to excuse myself from that moment. I think, Sean, you were talking and I just happened to be like looking at it. I had to take Lisa in the hallway, and we were both just emotionally, instinctually centered, bawling creatures. And it's like, okay, I need to get myself back into the swing of things, just because once again, the technology has blown our minds in terms of what it was able to do to literally save another human being's life. And so I think one of the big things that all of us took away yesterday, we were talking about it after we debriefed from that half-day event yesterday, is that, holy cow, this isn't what we expected. Because the whole expectation, like Sean, you were saying, we come in here, we unlock their understanding of themselves as leaders, we help them unlock their understanding of the people in their teams, and then we use Harmonious to help them scale to limitless levels, and they can walk away with a 90-day blueprint guaranteed that they can, if they execute that, they'll take their business to the next level, right? Well, if you've been an entrepreneur for any length of time, you will know that the best laid plans almost never happen the way you want it to. But the beautiful thing about what Lisa was saying, what unfolded, was the fact that some of the people yesterday got super, super connected to why they are here beyond the business that they currently have. And that, one, inspired me to write a whole new song just for them. And I did. And on top of that, it was like, this whole leadership, this harmonious retreat that we have, is so much more than that 90-day blueprint and unfolding and creating limitless scalability and Harmonious and HumanOp coming together. This synergy that the four of us had, I don't know, been divinely guided to be able to do, I don't think anything else out there can do this. I mean, that's just me. And that's how I'm looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think so. I've been to, myself, a number of different rooms. Insert the name of celebrity entrepreneur here, and I've been to a number of them. I know you guys have too.
We all have, right?
And I'm sure everyone listening has as well. It's a very unique and potent combination that we're talking about. I want to talk about that though. Yesterday, let's kind of fast forward, and then we'll go back and dissect the retreat. Something that I kind of struggled with it yesterday, to be honest with you, was seeing this one participant basically decide to close the doors on his business, but in a way that he was at peace and almost happy with it. And like in the beginning, I was like, did we fail him? That was my initial thought. And I should probably go to therapy for this, but that's what I was working through. And then,
why
and then
start
I was like,
now, Brandon?
Right? I've made it far enough. But then on the other hand, I was like, wait, if he went to one of those other guru events, they would have just told him to keep grinding and he would be miserable for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
They would have just told him to keep doing whatever it was that they had them on the path of in order to be right. They would have forced him down that path, as opposed to, it was amazing to watch him suddenly coming to this epiphany and us telling him not only that it was okay, but why it was okay and what would come next. And he just peacefully sort of was like, I'm okay. I'm done with that. I think I know exactly what I am in the world and what I'm supposed to be. It was incredible.
I know. And and if you're listening to this and you've been an entrepreneur for any length of time, especially if you've been an entrepreneur for multiple businesses, you know exactly what we're talking about. That moment where you have to, do you cut bait and move on, or do you keep grinding away at it, not knowing whether or not you're even into it anymore, right? And Lisa and I, and Brandon, you saw it too before even I did, we have every participant retake the assessment before the event yesterday. And that individual showed up exactly how he felt.
Yeah.
He was done. He was 100% done. And you know what I think he was looking for, which is what I so love about what we created. He was looking for the community to help support and back up what he already validated within himself to his core that he knew he needed to do and wanted to do, actually. Right?
Yeah.
So, there is a line in the song that I wrote where it talks about all the paths ahead of us lead into darkness. Nobody knows what the future is going to be, but when you have that guidance within yourself and with the people that are around you, it doesn't matter if it's lit up or dark. You choose and you go forward and you will never be alone, and that's really, I think, what separates a lot of what we're cultivating here beyond anything else. It's like, we're going to be there for you, but we're not going to constantly upsell you into doing the same thing over and over again, just in a different way.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well said. So that's one outcome. We'll talk about some other ones later, but let's go back to February, back to the retreat.
Yeah.
We descend on Scottsdale. We rent a Tahoe. I was excited about the Tahoe. I just got to put that out there.
You're all about big cars.
He was so excited.
There's 6 of us in the car. We're having a good time. We roll up to the house. We pull in, and it's amazing. It was gorgeous. We don't need to talk about the house or the property, but immediately we get into that mindset and into the zone of, okay, something already changed. Something already feels different. And then we start to have the attendees come over. So far, it's just day 1. We're just getting started with this event. What did we screw up until this point? From the minute we came up with this idea to the minute the attendees walked in the door, what do you guys think we already got wrong and that we're going to change for October? Trick question.
Oh,
surprise.
You want? I know.
Go hit it.
Ooh, I know.
Was it the Tahoe? Should we have gotten a Suburban or something?
No, the car was fine. You were driving. I was in the front seat. All was good. That's all I cared about. Doesn't matter what the vehicle is. What I think we messed up. I think we messed up that some of the participants were staying in the house with us because it didn't allow us because then we had to do two things at once. We had to play the role of host, but also performers, magicians, wizards who were about to change their lives. And so it would have been better had they been safely ensconced somewhere else, and we could have pre-paved and set everything up without them there. That was kind of one thing that we messed up.
Well, that's also, yeah, I agree with that. Just this little side note, Sean. Sorry to interrupt that, but it also didn't give us an ability to turn off from one day to the next.
Yeah,
because they were always there.
Right? Yeah. I'm saying that was like I totally agree. I'm thinking that's like a day 2 or 3 learning, because at that moment I didn't know it. But when we showed up, I went, oh no, and guests are coming soon, and we just got here, and we haven't set anything up, and we don't know, and how can we?
Oh my God, the dean's coming.
We can't control the thing; they're inside the walls. Like oh my God, right? It's like so. If you were doing this kind of thing, I would say, wonderful idea to have it at that kind of space, because just the possibility, you feel like you're in your future home when you're this successful, that you're living in this palatial place. It gave us. It wasn't a big cavernous room in a hotel. It was such the right thing to do it in that kind of setting. But Way's right. Not only couldn't we prepare ahead of time, but then in the down moments where we needed to be off, we could never be off because everybody's still here, right? So from a presenter standpoint, from a management standpoint, don't do that. Don't host the thing in your very bedroom.
unless your niche is the bedroom.
Well,
it's always Way that goes there.
Way that goes there. Lisa,
I'm actually
you're far too nice.
Somebody who has a niche in their bedroom.
I'm just used to hanging around you guys, so I just take it with a grain. I agree with you, Sean and Way, on just, in retrospect, yes, but at the same time, absolutely, as presenters, we need that time away. As all of you out there as leaders, you recognize that, or could recognize that. And one of the beautiful things about actually having not made that choice is we got a lot of really cool dynamics with, spending time with everybody on our off time, and in terms of our not on stage time. Really cool side conversations, really cool group conversation, spur of the moment humor coming from Sean, which always makes everybody laugh, or I'll speak for myself. I was laughing the whole weekend, or the whole time we were there. I just want to make one point. I know you were talking about what we could do better, Brandon. I'm going to divert from that for just a second and just speak about the venue just for a second. We may be talking about it later. One aspect of the venue that I love so much is the space. Not only was it beautiful, of course, it's gorgeous. The space to actually step away, during our day, participants and leaders, we could step away and just have a little me time here and there. And the property itself gave us the opportunity to do that. So I love it from that perspective, and more. It was beautiful, of course. Yeah.
Brandon, are you saying that beautiful? I love all that, Brandon. But are you saying? So I want to. Now I'm bringing back to the things that we messed up. Did we skip right over the thing that we messed up? Because maybe
I think so. I think so, because now that I'm hearing from both of you, I'm thinking, well, there's actually pros and cons to the fact that we had them there. It's kind of like having it in a hotel and everybody staying in a hotel type of thing. The energy is maintained. And so it's a little bit of that too. So now I'm like, is that what we messed up?
No, what I'm saying is we forgot. Guys, Brandon's sitting there with a Cheshire cat look on his face because he knows we messed it up so bad. We don't even remember it. We blocked it out of our minds. We had a meet and greet the night of our ending, and we had to have cold conversations with people who just wanted a free drink or
a meal.
and we had guests there wanting our full attention. We're like, sorry.
No, it was so traumatizing. I blocked it. I don't even remember it. What meet and greet?
That was so bad. That was the dumbest thing we could have done. Yeah. Good intentions, horrible execution.
So Brandon, describe what we're talking about, because the world listening doesn't know what we're talking about.
Again, you're right, Brandon. I like the idea. The idea.
Yeah.
But some of the best ideas are probably best left as ideas.
Best kept ideas.
Brandon, describe what we were talking about.
So we, in the creation of this retreat, said, hey, we're all from across the country. We're going to a new city. We're going to Phoenix, Scottsdale. Let's meet some locals and just see if we can hang out. We're going to be there. The event starts Monday. We were getting there Sunday. So in my head, I was like, oh, networking events are cool. Entrepreneurs, startups, they love networking events. This could be fun. We had also at the very same time, the line from Beauty and the Beast always comes in my head. I think Lumiere sings it. Life is so unnerving for a server who's not serving. So we had a sales team who wasn't really selling. So life is so unnerving for a sales team that isn't selling. And I said, all right, how can we at least get them to have conversations? And this was the idea. Put people in a networking event in a city we don't know. Very easy, low barrier to entry. There's no cost. We get there to this restaurant, did not have a place reserved. 100% my fault. I was like, who's going to be in Scottsdale in February? Wow, am I stupid? So we get there. We're all huddled around a bar.
Oh, I'm so glad you said it first.
There's no logistics. There's no organization. There was no agenda. There's no name tags. There's no introductions. The list goes on and on. There was no way to follow up with these people. The person who invited them wasn't even there. They're all very confused. They really just wanted free stuff. And then we were like, hey, we're not paying for this stuff, actually. So surprise again. I mean, it was a colossal failure. Guys, how funny is that? Is that crazy?
It is true. We blocked it all out. I think all of us
all
did.
blocked it out. It was so horrible.
Yeah.
So
nobody
horrible.
knew who anybody was, and who is this a guest or just a random customer at the restaurant?
I don't know how we showed up the next day all fired up and ready to go, because with that initial loss, geez.
Yeah, but actually, as bad of an idea as it was, we didn't sit there and just like pooped on the whole thing, right? There it is. Okay. So what we did instead is we made the most of it. I actually made some good connection. I'm still in conversation with one of the guys that we met there on LinkedIn. But then eventually the people who were part of it all showed up, and we got a chance to kind of have some icebreaker moments. Some people that joined our retreat, this was the first time them seeing us in person for the first time, right? So it was kind of a nice way to just like, oh yeah. So when the next day that they came in, it's like, yeah, I saw you yesterday. How are you? Blah, 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 that type of thing. So we did make the most of it. And, one thing that can be said about what we do, eating our own dog food, is that the high level resilience that comes through, right? When it happens. Okay. I don't think the audience knows what that poop count is.
Somebody better explain it, because it's going to probably happen again.
No, keep going.
I'll continue to update it.
They'll learn. Listen to future episodes. This is it. Come on.
If you want to know more about what that poop count is for, make sure you'll subscribe.
Know. It'll emerge. We're never going to talk about it, but people will start to know.
Yeah.
All right.
You have
if you're listening,
to figure it out.
Go watch.
They'll be playing at home with their own bingo cards. All right.
Okay, so colossal failure aside, we got that out of the way. That's awesome. Guys, at least we always have the story, right? Life wouldn't be fun if it was all easy.
My God, right? That's the whole point of the show, isn't it? To basically open the curtain and say, nobody gets it right. Yeah. Nobody gets it right.
That's right. That's right. We're learning. We're not going to do that again.
No.
All right, day one, we broke people's brains a little bit. We didn't really blow them up until Tuesday. So day one, it was all HumanOp technology. It was understanding you as a leader, your unique leadership style. We expanded that to understanding people's teams, getting them down on paper, and understanding how we play together. Now, the interesting piece here was they had a preview of this because we had them take the HumanOp assessment, download the app beforehand. So they had already gotten a little bit familiar with what and who they are, basically, through the lens of this technology. But Wei and Lisa, you guys have done this a bajillion and a half times at this point. Never with an app, though. What was different, if anything, about this dynamic, about presenting the HumanOp technology to this group?
Well, I'll start Wei. I can't be more excited about this app as it continues to get even better and better. And the main reason is for efficiency's sake. As you can imagine, as those of you who've been around the HumanOp technology at all, if you haven't been around it at all, you're in for just an incredible experience. When one takes the assessment and attends one of our presentations of any sort, you learn about yourself, and it's a lot of information. You learn about your natural potential. It's a lot of information. It's very interesting and exciting for most people because they're blown away by how one 10-minute assessment can glean so much incredible, comprehensive, accurate, valuable information about themselves. And so we share all the different aspects with the individuals attending, and it's a lot. The great thing about the app that's so exciting is it just continues. You can just continue to go back in. I'm like, what was that again? Like on day one, yeah, everybody's all psyched and they get it and everything. And then like day two, it's like, oh, what was that again? Let me go into the app and refresh myself. So yes, when we're there with you for the event, Wei and I and Sean and Brandon can remind you of things, but having the app in your pocket, literally any time of the day, you can pick it up and go, I remember Wei and Lisa were saying something about this aspect. And right away you can get, refreshed on what that was. And the even cooler thing about it is you can ask Kai, our HumanOp authentic intelligence, even more questions. It's like having Wei and Lisa at your fingertips, any time of day with Hai, because Hai's our baby. And we've trained Hai to be to share with you as we would. And it's a really, I mean, I could go on and on because it's so exciting, because it just makes everything that we share really start to stick, and then you can really run with it instead of coming back and going, yeah, it's really great information, I just can't remember it all, or how do I do that again? And you don't always have access to us. Now you do.
Yeah. I think a lot of some context should be provided why Lisa and I are so excited about this chapter of the HumanOp technology is because prior to this past year, even, right, less than a year now, so it's not even a full year yet, we were working off a consultative model. So that means that in order for people to get the results, they had to take the assessment, but they had to wait. They had to schedule a time to have a live meeting with one of us so that you can engage in this 90-minute PowerPoint presentation, sometimes longer. Usually with Lisa and I, it's longer than 90 minutes, because then people really get it, and then they start diving deeper, and next thing you know, it's 3 hours. Just to get your results. But as we know, one presentation isn't enough, because then what happens, you take away 10-20% of what you heard, and the next thing you know is like, oh, that was so good, and now what, right? And so the reason why we shifted into this model, and even the retreat is an even better version of the previous model, is that it's more economical, it's more affordable, it's more scalable. Because before, we were only catering to those who can afford. If you can imagine, the only patented human assessment technology in the world for a long time was inaccessible for the masses, because it was so freaking expensive just to get your results. It's always been Lisa and I having this dream, like, we need to get this hands of every human being. And this past retreat was probably one of the first official implementations of this version of ourselves, so we can actually get it to the hands of every human being. So while they're in there, they're watching us, they're learning. If they don't want to interrupt the flow, they can just pull up the app and look it up again and say, okay, oh yeah, that's what they meant, and so on and so forth, and just kind of have this going back and forth. And even in their downtime, when they're back in their room and they're ready to wind down for the night, but they're so excited, they just pull up the app again, and they just like, oh, okay. And now, future versions of the app will allow you to take your own notes in there. So that way you can keep going. And then our HumanOp authentic intelligence engine, our little support mechanism on the back end, will be able to refer to your own notes and then talk to you. So yeah, there's just so much, like Lisa was saying, we can go on and talk about this for like ever. But I think that first day was such a a great experience of seeing, oh, we've now taken the technology to a new level where the rest of the world can truly benefit from this groundbreaking technology.
And we heard that too, Wei, didn't we, from the participants using it with their teams and recognizing, starting to understand their teams better, which is like the whole, one of the key aspects of what we share with leaders. Not only how do you understand yourself, but understanding your teams.
Yeah. I mean, which was such a great feedback mechanism for all of us to realize, yeah, this is the type of people we want at the retreat, right?
Yeah.
Remember, we can serve everyone, but not everyone's a good fit, right? What we saw on the first day was, yes, these are the right people, because they were so excited about being able to unlock the potential of each of their individual team members, or to provide the best work environment for their employees. And that's why I looked around and said, these are the good people. These are the ones who care about their business beyond just making that bottom line. They want to be great leaders, but they also want to be able to facilitate their people to be great. Yeah. And I think
we only work with the good ones.
Yeah.
The good
that is true.
No judgment here, but just saying. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was super cool to see. And I think it was also day one. I'm pretty sure we had a participant that hated me to the point of, I think he even said he wanted to murder me prior to coming to the event. And we put this, I don't want to call it a refund policy, but a satisfaction policy on the event. And it'll be on the next one. If you're not completely satisfied already by lunch at day one, we'll refund you, give you a $500 travel credit. So I was quite positive that when he got there, he would be satisfied. But he admitted openly, yeah, I think I wanted to murder Brandon before I got here.
Yeah.
But he on day one turned the corner.
I know he didn't like you at all, but I don't think he wanted to murder you.
That shifted.
I think
we're gonna go back and watch the recordings. There was a violent threat in there, I believe.
Well, there might be look, legal's handling this. We don't need to handle it now. Legal's got it all.
But we're best friends now because of what happened on day one, because you're finally seen, right? And you finally see your people. And then you're in a group of other people who are experiencing the same thing. And that alone, I mean, if we stop there, honestly, that would have been enough. And this is not just blowing smoke up our butts here, but that experience on day one was so powerful, which is part of the reason why we dropped the nuke on day two. And that really just blew people up. So let's shift over. We're going to skip right over the activity for day one because people hated that, and that's fine. I loved it. We'll come back.
Hey, I don't think people hated it. I don't. You're very emotionally charged with your words today. Is murder and hate on here?
No. The murder, I swear, is a direct quote. If he didn't say it there, he said it to me privately.
Murder's a direct.
We had fun with it.
This is a post-mortem. We need to be seeing all sides. Brandon is swinging the pendulum to the negative side on purpose because we're also so positive about it. So well done. So yes, it sucked. There was a terrible. People hated the exercise, but the exercise was designed so that they would hate it, and then in the end learn something from it. So we might do a different exercise next time. Fair point.
Yeah, there is some secret sauce that we can't reveal just for the experience sake. Yeah. So we'll move to day two. Sean, the Maestro, you blew people up, my friend. Why did you do that?
I kind of did that. Here's the thing about the thing that we do is I've been doing the thing that I did on day two for quite some time. And the way I did it was to get impact for people who are layered under 12 layers of bullshit that the world has piled on them. And so I was doing something that was designed to get an impact when I was meeting people who weren't in a good place, who were believing the world as it is presented to them, who were having their energy, their money, and their spirit sucked away from them by a system that doesn't serve them as entrepreneurs. And so what I was doing was hitting them down in there with a bunker buster kind of move to try to move them and have them see another way. because of what happened on day one, the 12 layers of bullshit was almost all eradicated. I had only about 3 layers to have to get through. And so when I did what I do on day 2, I didn't realize the impact and how deep then the transformation would happen, because they had already been optimized, or at least shown that how much of their reality was forced upon them and was not them being in alignment. So when you take people that are now aligned and in a state of readiness, and then you deliver the message that we delivered on day 2 around why business feels so hard, why they can't get where they want to get, why it is not often fun, and to remove the guilt, shame, and barriers that all of that thinking gives them, made them feel untethered. Like, so nothing I believe in the world is true. And we're like, well, there's the 10 commandments, and then everything else under that is a game, right? Like, everything's a game after that. Holy shit. Like, I can literally do it. Yes. And then, okay, bye. When I go back into your business, right? It was like the transition that because I was usually starting with, I'm going to break your awareness on some of this in the business realm, and then show you a way to do it, to implement it and have a better path forward. That landed because they weren't so untethered. They still had layers of crap that was holding them close to the earth, that then they could get traction. So now understanding, oh wow, we're throwing turpentine on the whole thing at the beginning, washing all the crap away, and we're going to put them in a state where they're really, really ready to hear everything that we have to say vis-a-vis Harmonious. We need to do that in a way that is understanding that on the other side there needs to be a lot more hand-holding to say, so now here's how we reintegrate into society with a hyper-optimized self, playing a hyper-optimized game of enterprise. And when our business takes off like a rocket and everyone around you says you're crazy, but the results speak for themselves, stick with the results, keep having fun, keep doing the thing, and then stay there with them. So that's what I think happened on day 2.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch, because that didn't really, it happened in the moment, but it didn't come to fruition until we went through day 3, day 4, planning, okay, what does your next 90 days look like? It was interesting for me though, and I'd love to hear from you guys. When we had people plan your next 90 days, you hear of the, 10x is easier than 2x, and we're not going to name names, but I think I already just did. I've hinted at some things in these, shoot for massive goals. We were like, no. We just want you to 2x your ROI from coming here. Whatever that is, whatever you define that to be, we're not going to tell you that metric. You come up with it. We'll help you execute or bring up the plan, and then we'll help you execute it. We'll be along the way with you for the next 90 days. What did you guys feel from the participants, from the attendees, as they were creating their plans? I'll say from my perspective, I felt a group of very grounded individuals who weren't shamed into lofty goals that they just could never achieve and then be sold into some other product on the back end. And it was a sense of clarity and of peace that came with it. But that's my view. What did you guys feel?
I agree. And I think it goes back to what Sean was talking about yesterday to the group about the importance of momentum, right? Momentum is not created when you jump off a cliff and drop straight down thinking that you're going to hit some 10x goal. Momentum is created when you start to take that first step, and then you accelerate step by step, and then that creates the sustainable momentum. And I think what we're talking about here, the reason why we didn't do 10x, 5x, or even 3x, if you can do 2x, you can certainly get to 10x. But if you say you're going to do 10x, but you can't even do 2x, then what's the point? And this is the big, huge gap that is then manipulated into selling you into more things, like you were saying, Brandon. But you're right. What I saw was a lot of the same thing, which is that 2x, and then all of a sudden they said, yeah, what would give you 2x return, right? And since we have guarantees on our programs and everything like that, putting the 2x there, it turns into a no-brainer dynamic, especially when we say, And by the way, you have us for life as a community, as a support system. We're going to be here for you. I mean, it's the same philosophy. What I love about you guys is the same philosophy that Lisa and I have held dear for a long time. Even before I met Lisa, this was always my philosophy in running business, that once you become a client or a customer, even if you just bought a CD from us, to me, that means you're family. You're in our world. You're now in for life. You can reach out and say, hey, I need a little help. I can't afford you, but I need help. I am stuck. I am in a very bad place. And somebody's going to reach out, right? Just because you've agreed to say yes to us once, And I think that's a lot of what we're looking to cultivate here. But yeah, I agree with you, Brandon. It was a lot more grounded than most other events where people are like, and they walk away and they have what they call a retreat or a workshop or seminar hangover, right?
Yeah, and when you're filtering it through as a leader, your unique leadership style, it makes precision happen in your goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you to really tune into understanding in the past why things maybe haven't worked as well or have, and what to do more of very precisely and specifically as it relates to you as a leader first and foremost, and then expanding out into your team. So, when we do our breakout sessions, we were able to actually help the participants understand, okay, I've got this person leading sales, I've got this person doing something else, in understanding how I'm going to set these goals. What does that look like if I've got this person in this position and I'm wired like this? And when I feel like this, what does that mean? We're able to really fill in the gaps and help people understand the why, which is so beautiful with our technology combined with Harmonious, because it makes everything that you're creating, like I said, very precise and specific and accurate.
Yeah. Oh, and can I say just one thing? When we were speaking of breakout groups, I was wandering around, just kind of popping in to who Brandon was talking to, and Sean was talking to, and Lisa was talking to, and I was eavesdropping. And what I love so much about how we do, and we'll probably continue to do these types of retreats, I'm a big fan that no two retreats are the same, no two human beings are the same. We were doing the same exercise with the same constructs and set of rules, and yet every conversation you all were having with the people that you are sitting in and a breakout was completely different. It was unique to them. In those moments, Lisa, Brandon, Sean, you guys were serving that human being based on how that human being is uniquely designed in that moment for their business, for the structure. And it was a different conversation. I couldn't leave each time because I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's different, because I just heard somebody else Sean was talking to. It was like, it's not even the same thing, because they're a totally different person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I loved a lot about just wandering around and eavesdropping what you guys were doing in those little small breakout sessions and talking to the different people. It was fascinating to see.
Yeah, it was a super cool experience. So let's put a bow on the actual 4 days, and then we'll talk about the mushroom cloud that became evident yesterday. So 4 days in Scottsdale, general things that you would want to change, and maybe one regret or something that you wish we had done better. For me, we didn't go in the pool, guys. That what?
Yeah.
What? Why didn't we go in the pool? We went in the hot tub one night, but
yeah,
that's my biggest regret.
No,
but
there was no pickleball, no volleyball. We had all that stuff set up.
We did play basketball for like 10 minutes, and we realized quickly that we're not qualified to play basketball.
It was horrible, and I think we have drone footage of it.
We do.
Come watch Brandon. Brandon usually builds businesses. Watch him throw a lot of bricks down.
Oh man,
that was horrendous. Now Lisa played some cornhole. I started playing that with Sandy. Right? So we had
the brothers played pickleball, and they were doing it because they learned that they both needed to move to connect better. So they went to the pickleball court to do their exercise, and they were talking across the court to each other while doing the pickleball exercise, because they were both movement centered. And it was amazing to watch. They were actually being productive while playing pickleball.
That's cool.
That is true. Okay, so let's go around. Agenda updates or changes, if any, and your biggest regret outside of not going in the pool? Maestro, coming to you first.
I would tweak night 1, obviously, because
I told you. See, I used charged language. Looks like it was accurate.
Yeah, I would tweak night 1.
Is it because you lost? We won't say what the event was, but it's because you lost, isn't it?
Yeah. The event. Oh no, I meant the first. Oh no, the race car thing that Brandon set up because he's a race car expert and then wanted to go run race cars around. Right. It was perfect. I learned that night was such a teachable moment that came out of that because I said to everybody, we're talking about what happens when we're all reset to the level of 10 years old. The behavior I see out here in this race car thing, go-kart event, is everybody being 10 years old. Once childlike competition becomes accepted, you will see everybody revert to 10. So it actually was beautiful. And my reaction to it, not wanting to do it again, was exactly who I would have been at 10, which is right. So anyway,
so teachable. You meant the cocktail event the night before.
I meant the cocktail event. We would tweet that.
That's day
not
0.
Yeah,
we're in agreement on that.
I would do that. And then regrets. I don't know. I think I would just trim up some of the things that we tried to do because we forced so much out there. I think we blew people up without them even consuming everything that we said, gave, provided, offered. So I would just trim it up, make it a little more easy to digest, a little more palatable. So it's my regret my regret is that we didn't have all the follow-up that we could have had afterwards to make sure that everybody landed in the maximum, to the maximum effectiveness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lisa, what about you?
So this is an interesting dynamic because I'm not a super fan. I like to stay timely on an agenda in terms of if we write it down and in terms of start times and end times and things like that. And if something is really progressing in a way that's really important, I like to also throw that out the window in the moment. So it's not about sticking right to the dot of a timeline if we put it in an agenda. I just think we can tighten it up a little bit in terms of starting around the time that we say, and it happened sometimes and it didn't happen sometimes, and so it's not a super clear.
It was very politically correct though.
But
very
I just felt like that could be tightened up. Okay.
Tighten
And then what was yours, Sean? Because I was gonna launch off of that. What was your regret?
My regret was that we didn't spend enough time afterward.
Yes. So, I mean, it's like, and those of you who, the participants who just attended the recent retreat could probably attest to this. We ripped off a lot of Band-Aids.
And then we fire hosed salt water on him.
And then we didn't leave them high and dry at all, but we can do more.
Yeah,
and so I think
dry off with salt water and it gets crusty. So we have to take the crust off.
We just need to offer after support in a different or more, expansive way. So those are the two things.
Yeah. I agree. I think the nature of how we do it, doing the standard follow-up stuff that the rest of the industry does, it's a disservice because of just how deep we go in what we do. I don't know if it's so much as a regret from my end as like I think what we packed into 3 or 4 days really should be a week-long retreat, not a 3 to 4 day one.
I agree with you.
And maybe that's what because at the end of the day, the 4 of us, we eat, drink, live, breathe, poop it, all day long. And so, we're 100% HumanOp all day long. The rest of the world is not, right? And I think giving that space and time of integration while still in the mix would be phenomenal. And I think the value proposition would be even higher because of the marination time that they're able to have while being monitored. And it's like, is it better that a chef is able to marinate and watch and adjust as it's marinating, or do you just throw it in the fridge and just say, good luck, I hope it's going to be okay? I mean, if we do it enough times and everything like that, then we know exactly what it is. But I know from coming from the food industry that there are certain marination processes that if you don't adjust the dynamics of the environment while it's marinating, you don't get as good of a result, right? And I think the same thing can be said about what it is that we do, because it's so objectively profound and it's so groundbreaking in terms of shattering people's constructs of reality every single moment that they're there. I mean, I was seeing each of you breaking through reality blocks for every person in every conversation. And it could be a small break, but sometimes it's a big one. Lisa was perpetually making people cry in her conversations with people, and they're just like, oh my God,
Who's sad talking to you, Lisa? It's a downer.
Right.
No.
They're crying from like elation and like relief and and some of the, and the men that were there, though, you could tell they wanted to cry, but they held back because it's not appropriate to be a crying man. But but you could see the emotion burgeoning, on through to all the orifices of their faces.
You always, man, every time you're on this show, Wei, you sometimes end your statements with just the weirdest analogies. And then you
leaking
toss it back to me
orifices.
like, all right, clean up, Brandon.
Leaking orifices, clean them up, Brandon. Oh,
Well, let's go back to
I never took off
marination.
my diapers, okay, when I grew up. So now you just clean up after me
There
everywhere.
you go. Number
there
3.
you go. We're up to 3.
Up to 3.
So
I
Brandon,
can't keep up with this counter. Marination, though. I hear what you're saying. Whatever Chef Travis did, he marinated perfectly, because that was, to me, that might have been the highlight of the event.
That
But that's
Chef
the secret
Travis,
you need to come to experience.
The quartet playing in the background, playing modern music.
Oh wait, that's a
secret. It's a secret way that people have to come to experience all the retreat has to offer. But let's fast forward.
I'm saying it so that we can keep reinventing ourselves and don't do the same thing over and over
We're
again.
not gonna do the same thing.
We're gonna have a rock band this time.
Are we gonna have Prince? We're gonna revive him from the dead.
oh, if we could do that,
Sean,
Prince
would you
cover
so
band.
happy?
if only there would be no greater gift to give to the world than to bring Prince back.
I can think of a couple. Anyway, the mushroom cloud, guys.
Yeah.
So yesterday, what our goal for this event was the 3 C's that me and Sean love talking about so much. It was clarity, confidence, community. We've touched on all 3 of those.
Big?
What?
Why is your hand so big right now?
Because I have elephantitis of just my left hand. My right hand is actually normal size.
This is weirdly big.
It's like the Quasimodo of hands.
I'm coming to eat you, podcast watcher. Now I lost my thought. Oh, okay. So yeah, we wanted people to have clarity of what was their 90-day plan, confidence to execute it, that you had the community and support to do that. We met with them every 2 weeks along the way, intermittently, Telegram, text, all that kind of stuff, phone calls in between. Yesterday, we have, I think, immense clarity, but the results were different than expected. We already hinted at someone who's got clarity that maybe he wasn't in business for the right reasons and will probably pursue closing it and starting a new business. We have someone else who's coming to the reality of, well, maybe they're not in the right role in their business. Are they passionate about it? Should they be closing it down? And then we have others who have surpassed their goal. To me, I told you guys how I felt before. It was kind of shook me up in the moment, but then looking back at, well, that was the goal, to give them the clarity and the community to be safe and operate. Well, how would you assess the last 3 months overall? And then also looking forward, knowing that this is really a 12-month mastermind. It's not just a one-time event. How do you foresee our performance outside of, yes, we could have checked in more, but over the first 90 days to get the results that we got for these people?
I'll say something. I think, especially for those who are listening to this and they're like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to that event. I'm not going to be put in a position where I want to close down my business or do something that I don't want to do or think that I don't want to do. And even the one that surpassed her goal, basically, she still had a blow up moment because she has to do something that she doesn't want to do. Right. And if it is triggering you, you're hearing this, it's like, oh, what kind of event is this? And he's like, it's bringing to the forefront things that you've been sweeping under the rug, things in tough conversations you've been avoiding to have with yourself because you've been avoiding looking in the mirror aside from just getting ready to go in the morning. And the reason why most of us avoid those types of moments that every single person in the call yesterday experienced is because most of us are never given a safe place to be able to even venture there. Right. And you're right, Brandon. At first I was like, oh, wow, did we like completely screw the pooch on this one, right? I think it's quite the opposite. I think what we've cultivated is the beginning of this beautiful, one of a kind in the world community and environment for those who truly want to be living authentic lives in and outside of work, to be able to do so, to shed the crap that they've been avoiding, right? To come to Jesus in that moment and say with themselves, like, I never wanted this. Why do I keep doing this? Why was I convinced that in order for me to have value in this world, I need to be able to grind through something that I really just did out of coincidence, but never really wanted? This is not in alignment with what I'm here to ultimately do. So I think that mushroom cloud that you're talking about, Brandon, for me anyway, I think it was blowing up the falsehoods in their world, leaving behind the objective truths and realities that's authentic to them so that they can step more and more into their own authentic existence of why they're here in this lifetime. That's what I think happened.
I like it. Lisa, what do you think?
I'm going to say kind of the same thing because it's interesting how when we think we know what we want when we go into something. We also sometimes think that we should be wanting something as a leader. We should be striving for something. We should have these high expectations for ourselves and our business, that we should be doing it this certain way. And what we did was we took all the universal shoulding rule book away.
Stop shoulding yourself.
Yeah.
And emoji. Put it up there, Brandon. Count it.
That one's a close one. It's borderline call. We're gonna go to the review.
We know what he meant. We know what he meant.
And as Wei said, we brought in the truth of you, our individual truth. And for us, the four of us, we don't have a crystal ball to see how that's going to actually unfold. We just know that it will unfold. And it will unfold in alignment with the uniqueness that is that individual. So the cool thing for the four of us, I'll just speak for all of us, is that we don't know how those, in this 90-day check-in was going to look. Everybody's got their unique goals. Everybody's got their unique business, all of that. But what we do know behind it all is it's going to unfold in alignment with the uniqueness of the individual and their company and, all that they are, because we shared that with them. We helped them to see it sometimes for the very first time. I mean, the uniqueness of how and able to embrace the uniqueness of you. I mean, when people can do that, I mean, it sounds like a simple thing. It's huge to be seen and to be, to shine that light on. It's okay to operate from your true nature once you know what it is. And once you do, who knows where it will take you. And I can guarantee it's going to take you someplace good if you stay in alignment with it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on it.
I like your 2 cents. Sean, I completely forget the question at this point, so I hope you remember.
Me too. So here's what I want to talk about. Are we wrapping this up?
We're going to. We have to look forward to the next one, and I want to wrap it up. But what were you going to say?
I was going to talk about, all of this. We're very present to the idea of momentum right now. Momentum being the energy that any business needs, that it's the only job that any leader has, is to catalyze momentum in their business, meaning the energy they have along the course of their vision, despite the obstacles that are set against them. Momentum. How is Brandon, how is momentum calculated? Correct. Momentum is velocity and mass. Most people go to an event and they get velocity, lots of it. They're juiced up, they're jazzed up, they're there for a reason. There's rah, 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 there's lights, they're jumping around, they get velocity. And they then lose momentum when they come back to reality because they didn't really have the mass. This was something new. They didn't really internalize what the new practices were. They didn't make it a habitual thing, right? People who have a lot of mass have their habits, their routines, their safety nets. And sometimes that mass can stagnate momentum because it's too heavy for the velocity it's thrown to it. They haven't been broken out of some of the stuff that's holding them down, holding them back. Some of the mass that's holding them on a track that is not along the path to the vision. Mm-hmm. So what we have realized that we have the ability to do is do both of those elements. We break away the stuff that is holding you back, giving you new habits, so you have new mass, things that you can carry on beyond this event, and also the velocity. We gave in our event too much velocity and not enough mass. We didn't give them enough grounding things to do, tracks to build along the path of the velocity. But you, anyone hearing this, in your journey, you are looking for both as a leader. The velocity, the energy, the what lights you up, the new vision, the pathway, the energy to move forward towards that, yes, which comes from clarity, community, clarity, confidence, and community. That's the velocity. But then the practices, once those are laid out, that gives you the mass, the community, the ongoing things to continue going despite all the forces that are against you.
Yeah. I love that, Sean. I mean, fine-tuning that a little bit. I think, in any equation in the world of science and physics and math, momentum equals mass times velocity, right? What was it? Power. Yeah, whatever you said. When people don't take the time to integrate, like you're saying, right? What I would say even more precisely is that they're not quantifying. So then that M, you have the velocity in this. It's like saying the M, you leave it as a forever variable because it's a moving target. You don't have the quantification. You don't have it nailed down. You don't have it integrated. So you don't have a quantifiable figure to plug into that mass so that you can finish the equation to get your momentum, right? Like you were saying, we have all this velocity. Now we take everything that you're saying. So I think along with having all that mass together is the requisite of integration that you're talking about, and then quantifying that to a degree where then you can actually plug in an actual figure versus leaving it as a variable. And I think you're right there, Sean. Most of the time people walk away, the velocity is great. They've got a number in there, but the mass is still an M. It's not quantified yet, right? So yeah.
Lisa, I don't know about you. This conversation just got way too smart for me.
Yeah, I never was good at all that.
I don't even know how to spell
math
at this point. But hey, Corey, do me a favor when you're editing this. Insert me saying mass times velocity, so I sound smart when I answered Sean's question. Thanks, bud.
Okay, I gave you credit for it. You know this.
I know, it's perfect. He can just splice it right in there. It'll be great. Thanks, Corey. Let's wrap this up. Sean, I'm going to continue what we did from your episode, the Maestro moment, because we all know you're not going to keep it to a minute. But anyway, we're looking forward to. Do you have to go somewhere? Is that why?
No.
This is fun. I could totally mess with you, but I know you'll hit the red button. And
I'll do it for like 20 minutes, God.
We are looking forward to another one of these in October. As Sean's talking, I'm putting it on the screen, humanop.com/retreat. If you want to check it out, the testimonials, the info, come or don't. That's okay. We'd love to see you there. What's keeping you up at night? What's the Maestro moment about the next retreat, the next Harmonious Revolution in October?
We've covered it a little bit. The thing that's keeping me up at night is that not everybody who was there could fully handle the untethering that we gave them. We didn't have enough grounding anchors afterwards for them to get the maximum benefit. We achieved the mission of breaking boundaries, revealing truth of self and the games in the world. But until we circle back and make sure that everybody was accounted for, because we don't want to ever leave anybody behind, until we go back, get them, and make sure they're fine, that is going to keep me up at night. And so from here until October, I'm going to make sure that we're doing everything we can to still have the event have maximum benefit with no collateral damage in your lives, as you realize everything I've been doing, I've been making too hard. And what happens when suddenly everything gets lighter, airier, funner? And what happens then when you reintegrate your life and the rest of everyone around you says, but we haven't seen the truth yet, so you must be crazy because you're so happy and lit up all the time, right? We want to make sure that they are cocooned in a place that life does not bring them back to the level of fear, insecurity, and themselves being up at night.
I think we talked about that, right? Like getting them really good at coming in and out of the matrix and going back in and out of the matrix.
Yes.
Right. I think what we did was we viscerally pulled them out of the matrix and they loved what they saw. But when they left, they were back in the matrix and then forgot how easy it was to just kind of step out again, just to give themselves that break from the matrix. You know what I mean? Because that's what happened in the movie, right? They just got really good at coming in and out of the matrix. And that's
the one
what
movie you guys forced me to watch. So for those of you listening who know all about
pre-rec. It's a pre-rec.
I know that movie. I know what they're talking about. This is fun.
We got a movie list. We got a movie list, punch list to work with if you're going to watch these. Otherwise, the references are lost.
That's right. This was fun, guys. We're going to do this again very soon. For those of you watching, listening, thank you for being here, first of all. And reminder, this is for entertainment purposes. Please don't run with scissors and don't sue us. And also, fun fact, hey, Lisa, don't hang up this time. I'm going to end this episode, but just hang out with us. We're going to talk after this.
I'll hang out. I'll hang out.
Get the heck out of
See you
here.
on the next episode of Running with Scissors.
Very busy.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Running with Scissors. Have you downloaded the HumanOp app yet? Head over to humanop.com to experience the power of this technology for yourself. See you on the next episode of Running with Scissors.